I'm Bonnie Browning, and I'm teaching Borders and Finishing Touches on iquilt.com. I'm going to teach you today how to do a mitered corner on the binding of your quilt. And there are a few tricks that just make that a little bit easier. It can be a little complicated, but once you know those tricks, you'll be able to do it every time. So here I have a finished one, and you can see what a good clean edge it gives to the corner of the quilt. So let me show you how that's done. I'm going to use a bias binding, and bias is the stretchy way of the fabric. And so it's on the diagonal at 45 degrees, and you can see that I've joined a number of strips together. And so I've joined bias strips, and you'll see that I've joined them here on the diagonal, and I press that seam open so there's less bulk in the binding. So I'm just going to show you how to go around one corner. And the first thing we need to do, I'm going to be taking 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And so I'm going to make a mark right on the corner of my quilt. And this is actually where I'm going to stop my sewing when I get to that corner. So I've made my pencil mark, and I always put a pin there because it's real easy to just go whizzing on by that spot and take 2 or 3 extra stitches, and you don't want to do that. All right, now I leave a tail of about 8 inches, and I always start close to one corner so that you can get one corner done in a hurry. So we'll just sew this with 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And it won't hurt to slow down just a little bit when you get close to that corner. Now I'm going to take a couple back stitches. And then we need to lift the presser foot, and we do need to cut our thread. All right, so once we do that, I'm going to turn the quilt. And you're going to fold that 45-degree angle in. And so this is your miter. That 45-degree angle is your miter. You want to make it so that the raw edge of your binding lines up with the raw edge of your quilt. And so you can see I've kind of pressed that in there. Now I'm going to bring the binding back on itself and align the fold with the edge of the quilt that we just sewed. So that you've got a folded edge matching here, raw edges matching on this side. And now you will start sewing right from the edge of the quilt. Now I'm going to break this right here because I want to show you what it's going to look like now that you've got that one corner done. Naturally, you would sew exactly the same way, folding each corner in the same way that we just did this one, folding it back to make the miter, folding it back on itself, stitching from the edge of the quilt. And so I'm going to show you then how you flip this over so that you get that nice miter to show. I always put my finger right here on that tip and just take your thumb and flip it right over the top. And when you do that, there's your perfect miter. Now I have lots more tips on putting binding on your quilts. You'll find them on Borders and Finishing Touches at iquilt.com. I hope you'll join me there.